What's happening, boys, and welcome to another World Cup squad builder. This time we are doing Group B. Group B in the World Cup consists of Spain, the Netherlands, Chile, and Australia. Having said that, boys, this was a very tough squad to put together. Before we get into it, boys, we blasted 900 likes in the last episode. You guys seem to really enjoy Group A squad builder. If we could blast 900 again, that would be fucking epic. Subscribe button is somewhere here on the screen. At SvedbuckHD is my Twitter handle. If you're looking for a cheap and reliable Ultimate Team coin service, the gamekeys.co.uk. Link is in the description below. Use ZWE for 5% off all purchases. But without any further ado, boys, let's get right into the squad. Alright, boys, starting out with our first player, we're going with our keeper, and we are using none other than Chilean Real Sociedad keeper Bravo. Moving forward to our first center back, we are going to keep with the same club, Real Sociedad, Inigo Martinez, a very solid, solid player for his cost. He's got 77 pace, he's got 79 header, and 80 defense. Fairly solid defensive rating for a non-gold rare. Boys, anchoring our center back line is none other than the water horse Puyol. He just looks incredibly wet. That sounded wrong. He's got 85 defense, 80 heading, 64 pace, although he plays a little faster than that. I would say he plays closer to 68 to 70 pace. At our center back position on the right, we are going to stick with the nationality of Spain, and we are going with Alvaro Dominguez, the Bundesliga player, just to give you a hint of how the right side of this line is going to work out. Moving to our midfield, we are going back to Chile. We're going with Barcelona man Sanchez, his inform card. He's got some fairly beastly stats there, namely the 88 pace, the 80 shot, the 75 passing, which we are going to desperately need in a defense, in a formation, that could leave us vulnerable. He's got the 4-star skill moves, he's got the 87 dribble. Moving on to the second player in our center midfield, we're going back to Spain, and it's going to be Javi Martinez. He's got some solid stats, the Bayern man. He's got 84 defense, 82 heading, 76 pass. Very solid stats for center midfielder. All right, boys, moving over to the left mid position, we are going to fly over to the Netherlands, and we're going to reunite with our boy Affile. This guy's stats are just ridiculous for a non-gold rare. He's got 84 pace, 78 passing, 83 dribble. He's got the 4-star skill moves, and he's got the 75 shot. And then we're going to bounce right up top to another pair of Dutch players. You've guessed it, it is Arjen Robben. There is really nothing you can point out. There's not a flaw in his game. At striker, we're going to go with another Dutch player, and that is Huntelaar. He's got fairly solid stats. The only thing lacking from his game is pace with 71, but his 82 heading, his 82 shot are something to be reckoned with when you've got Robben. The strength of the wingers and the midfielders passing to him, he is absolutely lethal in the air as well. Moving on to our left forward, boys, we're going back to Spain, and we are going with Cristian Tello. The 89 pace is very lethal. If I'm being brutally honest with you, boys, he is not the highlight of this particular squad. Really, all he's got is the 89 pace, 83 dribble, but only 3-star skill moves. And aside from that, nothing that really stands out. All right, boys, moving over to our right mid position. Unfortunately, the last nationality that we have to cover doesn't have a global reach in terms of footy. You've got Cahill, but he just was unfortunately unable to make it in this squad. However, the guy that we do have here is a silver beast known as Robbie Cruz, boys. He's got 84 pace, he's got 4-star skill moves. This guy's card is actually fairly beast. He's got that 5'11 height. Aside from that, the 77 dribble is okay, the 84 pace, his shot and pass leave a little to be desired, but he is a Bundesliga player playing fairly well for Leverkusen right now. This squad that you see in front of you right here goes for roughly 450 to 650k. There is one thing that you guys probably will want to call out, and that is the man Pedro, the Barcelona. As the Vicky Cristina Barcelona man Pedro, we could easily sub him in for Affile, but part of this series is I want to make it somewhat affordable. I know 600k is quite a bit, anywhere between 400 and 600k. That's not cheap, but this is really about putting together a squad that comprises all the nationalities of Group B, and it is a tough thing to do, man. It took quite some time to find one with 100 chemistry. Had to shuffle a couple guys around out of their usual positions, but this is the squad. Let me know what you would have done differently. Let me know what players you would sub in, what formation you would have done differently. I really want this to be a community effort, a subscriber effort. I want to hear from you guys in the comment section about this squad. Is there something that you think looks cool? Is there something you would have done differently? Without any further ado, let's get right into them. Alright boys, per the comments in the last episode, you guys wanted me to talk over the gameplay as opposed to just playing music, and I think that makes perfect sense, and that is essentially what I'm going to do here. So, what I wanted to point out, given the formation with the 3 center backs on the back line, that is the obvious weakness. We have 2 non-gold rares back there, anchored by Puyol, and I have to say, if there's one thing I want to stress about this game, arguably the most consistent performer was Puyol. Puyol, he's only got like 62 pace, but I'm telling you, man, he plays a lot faster and his strength is ridiculous. He's got that high defensive work rate, which is something that I find very desirable when it comes to having a backline that consists of 3 center backs as opposed to 4. I think I would wager that the majority of formations in FIFA 14 rely on a four-person backline. I can't talk right now. It's like 3 a.m. But boys, this team relies on me putting up more points than I am conceding, and that's a tough thing to do given the formation. It's not exactly the best defensive formation, but with guys like Affile, the Dutch Affile, non-gold rare, an absolute stud, 4-star skill moves. He's got 84, 85 pace, really solid player. You've got the Australian Robbie Cruz. He's got 84. Robbie Cruz. I don't know why I pronounced it like Max Cruz, but he's got 4-star skill moves. He's got like 84 pace as well. Doesn't have a lot of traits in the way of shots and passing and that sort of thing, but he does help create chances. Huntelaar, as you just saw there, was creating a lot of opportunities in the air, supplied by Robin on the right side, and also Sanchez up the middle through the midfield. And Javi Martinez was also a very, very solid defensive player, but surprisingly, well, unsurprisingly, I should say, he helped create a bunch of offensive opportunities, as you guys can see in the highlights here. So Huntelaar, really 71 pace, doesn't really cut it in Ultimate Team, but he is more a strength aerial threat. You have to have a guy like Robin, you have to have a guy like Affile on the left side to create those chances, but in the right situation, Huntelaar is an absolute monster. I believe I had a RVP of the Bundesliga comparison. Someone said that one time. I forget who it was. And really the point I wanted to drive home, in some of these groups, man, it's going to be really, really tough. I mean, obviously Group D is going to be a lot easier to do than Group B. It's just unfortunate that Australia, there aren't a lot of stud Australian players. Really, Cahill and Cruz are the only ones to speak of. If you guys have any Australian players that you can think of off the top of your head that would have made sense to have in the squad, I am all ears, but I searched high and low for those. Obviously, there's no shortage of elite Dutch players, no shortage of elite Spanish players. And again, boys, it's not only that there's a lot of elite Dutch and Spanish players, but they have to be able to fit within the parameters. I mean, having 4 nationalities that you have to try and fit within, and I'm trying to have 2 players of each nationality at least. I think in this one we were able to fit like 4 Spaniards, 3 Dutch players, 2 Chileans, and then 1 Aussie. I really want to have more balance than that, but really, in order to keep the squad competitive, I had to highlight some of the Dutch players, Dutch and Chilean players, and obviously there's a lot of Spaniards that'll help the team excel. But as you can see here on the screen, a lot of chances offensively with that bolstered. You know, we get a left mid, we get a right mid, we got 2 attacking forwards as well as a striker, and then we have the 2 midfielders supplying those attacks as well. So that's really what you're relying on with this sort of squad. Again, the weakness, the goalkeeper, the Chilean keeper, is Bravo. Not the greatest keeper in the world. Made a couple clutch saves, as you guys can see here in the highlights, but really nothing to write home about. Really, with this sort of squad, you have to hope that you're going to put up more points than you concede. As you can see here, we got some of the skill moves. Let's see, I think Robin, all right, so Robin, Sanchez, Affile, and Cruz all have the 4-star skill moves, all have decent pace, but really this squad runs you anywhere between 400 and 800,000. If you use Pedro at left mid, the informed Pedro, it's going to run you probably around closer to 800, but you can build this around 400, 500,000 coin. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Until the next one, boys, tschüss, later, ade.